Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And in today's range report, we're going to be taking a look at another cool double stack 1911. Now I know there are already some people that are typing in the comment section below, Jason, you don't know what you're talking about. That is not a double stack 1911, it's a 2011. Well, you're technically correct. This is a 2011 style pistol because the only company that can make 2011s is Staccato, because 2011 is a trademark. Now the manufacturer of this gun, Watchtower Firearms, calls this a double stack 1911. So who knows more about what this gun is? The people that designed it, made it, and marketed it, or you? I just wanted to bring that to your attention because in this video I might use the term double stack 1911 and 2011 interchangeably, but I wanted you to be aware of what the maker of this gun calls it. And the gun that we will be taking to the range, shooting and reviewing is the Watchtower Firearms PewView Apache double stack 1911. Now, the Apache is the 2011 style pistol made by Watchtower Firearms. However, this one is a little bit different. It was made in collaboration with a YouTube channel and a firearms enthusiast named PewView. And he is a competitive shooter and an exhibition shooter. I had never heard of his channel before. I went over and checked him out. He has quite a large following. He's obviously an amazing shot. So this is probably going to be an awesome upgrade from the usual guns that Watchtower puts out, because this is made to be run fast. And PewView obviously is an amazing shooter. So I am sure that whatever he wanted in this gun is only going to be an enhancement. So I can't wait to get this to the range and find out how it shoots. Now, the other caveat I want to give you before talking about this gun, and of course shooting it, is that I'm an average gun guy. But I don't think that precludes me from being able to review a gun like this. I always use the analogy, you don't have to be a professional race car driver to own and drive a Ferrari. Maybe you're just somebody that can afford a Ferrari and enjoys the finer things in life. So some people might criticize my review and say, you're not that great of a shot, or you don't really run that gun through its proper paces. And that might be a valid criticism. But you might be like me and just an average gun guy that loves guns like this, and you want to know, how will it work for me and my applications? And that is the experience that I want to document and talk about. So before we get this to the range and find out how it shoots, as always, I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this awesome pistol. He's a local fan and subscriber. His name is D, and he has lent so many amazing guns to the channel for me to review. So D, thank you once again. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters, because through their monthly donations and support, they help keep the lights on around here, and I could not do this without their support. And if you guys want to join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, there is a link in the description below, and you get to see all these videos early. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor who provides the ammunition for these range reports and makes them financially feasible for me, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And here we are once again reviewing another example of John Moses Browning's masterpiece, the 1911. And if you're here to watch this review, you probably love 1911s and you have a few in your personal collection. And maybe you're looking to upgrade one of these guns with a set of custom grips. Well, the grip company you need to check out is Brownworks. Brownworks is a custom grip company making a wide variety of grips for a wide variety of firearms out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. But the 1911 is one of Mark's specialties. He can apply custom logos, custom engravings, custom textures, finish these grips in a wide variety of colors, create his own laminate woods, and even apply exotic materials like snakeskin and alligator skin to make these grips unique and one of a kind. Anything you can imagine, Mark can create. So I'm going to put a link to his website in the comment section below, as well as a coupon code for 10% off your first order. And when you order your first set of custom grips from Brownworks, please tell Mark the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so once again, let's talk about the firearm we have on the table today and some of its specs. We're once again looking at the Watchtower Firearms PewView Apache Double Stack 1911. This pistol has a 4.6-inch barrel that is threaded to accept this compensator, and the comp is 0.75 inches long, so when the slide is closed, it does give you the profile of a government-size 1911. It is finished in a proprietary PVD coating, which is bronze. It's not flat dark earth. I think it's a very, very attractive color. This version has a rail out here in the front, so you can run any accessory you could possibly want. It is optics ready. They do retain a grip safety, just like an original 1911. One of my complaints with many of the manufacturers of 2011 pistols today is they do omit this. Maybe it makes the manufacturing process a little bit quicker and easier. But with a gun that is supposed to have a very light trigger, having this grip safety, I think, is a very nice feature. And this variant does have a mag well. There is a variant on the website that omits this, but I think if you're going to have a high-end race gun like this, you would definitely want to have a mag well. So before we get this to the range and see if it is as accurate and shoots as fast as everyone says it does, I want to talk about the things that I like and don't like. And I always want to start with the positive first. And the first thing I love about this gun is the aesthetics. One of my big complaints with many 2011 pistols as of today is that they look kind of generic. They're blocky, they're boxy, they have sharp edges. This one is a little bit blocky and boxy, but it has some style to it. The front of the compensator has an angle. Look at those cocking serrations. It's a blend between form and function. We have some nice curves to it. So I think in the world of 2011 pistols, this one is kind of a work of art. It doesn't look generic like many other companies. They obviously took some time in thinking about the aesthetics of the gun. I also really like the grip texture. It's not overly aggressive. Many 2011 companies with their grip modules make textures that are so aggressive they honestly are a little bit hard to shoot if you're not wearing gloves. I already mentioned I love this grip safety. I really think it is a nice feature and a nice touch, and shows that they take time in their manufacturing because they chose to include it instead of omit it. And of course we have this really nice jet funnel or mag well. And as I said, if you're going to own a gun like this, this is a huge game changer. I don't know why you would want a race gun without an accessory that is going to make mag changes so much easier. So now there are a couple things about this gun that I don't like. And the first thing I don't like about this gun, you already know. It has a flat face trigger. I just don't shoot them as well, and I don't think they are as comfortable. I really wish that they would have a trigger face that had just a slight curve in it, making it feel a little bit more even in my finger. Now, when it does come to flat face triggers, however, I find they are nicer in 1911s than they are other guns that have a hinged trigger, because this trigger is going to come directly back into the frame. And so it is a little bit more even, but I would prefer just a little bit of curve. It just would feel more comfortable and at home to me. Now, I don't like this compensator. Now, I will say when it comes to a compensated 2011, I would much prefer a ported barrel than a compensated barrel. I just feel like porting works better. It's more effective. I know that this looks really, really cool, but if I'm not going to have porting, I don't want anything at all. And that is also because these guns are so low recoiling. They're only chambered in 9mm, and they are kind of big and heavy. I don't really feel like the compensator does much. It's more of a distraction for me personally, but I know that is going to be just a personal choice. So now I've talked about this gun, but I want to show you what the trigger is like before getting it to the range. So let me go ahead and adjust the camera. Let's get out the Lyman trigger pull weight gauge, and let's see how light this trigger is, because everyone says this gun runs fast, and that's probably going to be because this trigger is so light. So let's go ahead and get some close-ups of the trigger in this Watchtower Firearms PewView Apache Double Stack 1911. Of course, we will drop the magazine, ensure there is no ammunition in it. It's a standard 2011 style magazine. Then we will safety check the firearm, ensure there is no ammunition in it. Looks like we are good. Let's take a look at the trigger's take-up. Very, very short, back to a clear and definitive wall. Brakes, very nice, but might be a little bit heavier than I was expecting it would be. Now let's take a look at this reset. Very short, and you are right back at that wall. Now I like to stage my triggers and ride the reset, and that feels great. So this trigger might be right up my alley. But let's go ahead and measure it, see how heavy or light it is. Let's clear the averages on the lineman trigger pull weight gauge. And let's see what our first pull is. 3 pounds, 12.3 ounces. Yeah, definitely heavier than I was thinking it would be. I was expecting to be around 3 pounds. Three pounds, 12.4 ounces. Three pounds, 13.3 ounces. 3 pounds, 14.5 ounces, and that trigger gauge did slip a little bit. That's why measuring these flat face triggers can be a little bit difficult. And then finally we have 3 pounds, 14.8 ounces, which gives us an average of 3 pounds, 13.4 ounces. So definitely heavier than I was expecting that it would be. So that's what this trigger is all about. So now it's time to get this gun to the range and see how it shoots. So as always, I will start with the target at 7 yards. I'll put a magazine through this and just document my initial thoughts, experiences, and opinions. So let's go to the range and see how awesome this pistol might be. All right, so let's talk about what happened and what I experienced. First of all, I had an issue loading the gun. When I inserted the magazine, it was completely topped off. And when I pulled the slide back and let it go, it did not want to fully pick up that round from the magazine. One thing I've noticed about 2011 pistols is the recoil spring always seems to be very light. I've always wondered if these guns are undersprung. Normally, a recoil spring in a firearm, especially a semi-automatic pistol, is pretty stout, but these are always pretty weak. And so if these magazines are topped off to capacity, you might have an issue picking up that first round. But all of the other rounds work just fine. Now let's talk about the accuracy of this gun. Well, you saw as I was shooting it, you could see the hole in the center of that target getting bigger and bigger. This gun is very, very accurate and very consistent. It's very soft recoiling. I can't complain about this at all. Now, I will say I am impressed about this compensator. This comp is not as big as other compensators on 2011 pistols. And so I'm not really feeling the concussion of it as much. So it's not that distracting. I think it is a well-balanced compensator if you like them on guns like this. But so far, this is an amazing experience. All right, so now let's double the distance of this target. I'm going to go for the head on this silhouette, and hopefully this accuracy is going to continue. So let's go back to the range. And pretty much I had the same results and I would have the same comments. The only thing I can say when it comes to this trigger, that now that I'm getting used to it, it's actually a little bit harder to stage than I thought it would be. It kind of surprises me from time to time. Even though it breaks kind of heavy, almost 4 pounds, it's a little bit of a surprise when it does. But it's a great trigger, I can't complain, and I'm not going to worry about that accuracy because this gun for me is spot on. And I'm just an average gun guy, so if you're an expert shooter, a competitive shooter, this thing is probably going to hit the mark for you. Alright, so speaking about this gun's accuracy, now let's put the target out at 25 yards. And I want to see what the best group I can get with it is if I take as much of the human element out of the equation. So let's go back to the range and see what shooting this gun from the bench is like. And this is simply one of those pistols that makes me look like a better shot than I actually am. I am very, very impressed with it. I will say though that the balance of this gun is a little bit off for me. I feel like it is a little bit front heavy. It could be because of this compensator, and that's another reason why I prefer ported barrels. It just keeps the gun a little bit more balanced. It's not bad, but if you've shot other 2011s, you might notice it. Alright, so the next test I want to do is the hollow point test. And you might be asking yourself, why in the world would you test this in a gun like this? Well, as I said earlier, you might just be an average gun guy or gal, and you have the money to buy this, and you might use it as a do-all gun. You might use it for home defense. Heck, you might even carry it. And if you're going to use it for that application, you want to know, can you use defensive ammo? Sometimes these guns with tighter tolerances don't run hollow points. So I want to test that. So let's go back to the range, let's test it with some various hollow points, and make sure it continues to run well. And I didn't expect anything less. The gun ran great, but you might have noticed I actually flinched at the end. I did not feel this gun lock open, and I wasn't counting the rounds. So the recoil impulse of this gun is very, very light. I don't know if I like that. I want to know definitively when this gun locks open. I didn't feel it, but I wanted to keep that in the range footage to show you, once again, I'm just an average gun guy. I'm not going to deceptively edit anything and leave out my weaknesses as a shooter. But it was a very small and minor thing, but I wanted to talk about it and tell you why I experienced it. Alright, so the last test I want to do is a 3-in-1 test. I want to, number one, see, can I shoot this gun fast? To be very honest with you, I think I will be. I can tell from just pulling this trigger, it wants to go fast. Number two, I want to see, can I drop this magazine, get a fresh one in here? I don't think this is going to be an issue because we have this awesome mag well. And then lastly, I want to know, is this gun point shootable? Is it easy to keep on target? I think it will be. And the reason I test for this, as I always say, if you're going to use a gun in a self-defense scenario, you might not have time to get your sights on the target that you're trying to stop. Everyone thinks they're going to train that way, but it might not be practical. And in that scenario, can you get the gun out of the holster and on target, keep it on target if you're just looking at the threat? So let's go back to the range. Let's test these three things out and see how it performs. And this pistol definitely passed all those tests with flying colors. Can I shoot this gun fast? Yeah, I can shoot this gun really fast. Obviously, the mag change, super easy. I love these mag wells. And as you also saw, all those rounds were on target. It's naturally pointing, and that's why I think this gun is so accurate. And this goes back to just being a 1911. John Moses Browning designed the 1911 grip absolutely perfect. And this grip angle remains in the 2011 style pistol. So I'm not going to complain about anything about this gun's performance. It has exceeded my expectations. So what are my final thoughts on the Watchtower Firearms PewView Double Stack 1911 Apache? This is one great pistol. It's very accurate. It's very attractive. If I have to be very, very nitpicky, it's a little bit unbalanced, a little bit front heavy, but that might not bother you. My other issue with this pistol is that I don't think it offers anything that other 2011 manufacturers don't offer. If you only look at guns as tools, this one might be a little bit too much for you. Personally, I think I shoot staccatos really, really well. This is obviously a high-end, amazing firearm that you would not be disappointed with. But once again, all these 2011s kind of look alike and they all kind of function alike. They're all great. So what does this one give you that other ones don't? I don't really know. But is it a nice package? You bet. It even has a really, really cool box that has Watchtower Firearms logo on this side and PewView's logo on this side, and it says Apache. This is a very, very nice presentation. So if you care about that, that's also a huge bonus. But from a function standpoint, this gun runs great, it's very accurate, but it doesn't do much more that staccatos do. In fact, I think I shoot the staccatos a little bit better than this one, even though I shot this one amazing. So on my star system, how would I rate the Watchtower Firearms PewView Apache Double Stack 1911? Well, I'm going to give this 4.75 stars out of 5. Did it exceed my expectations? Yes. Is it a beautiful pistol? Absolutely. But once again, does it do anything that a cheaper 2011 doesn't do? I don't think it does. It is really nice. And so if you're going to get this pistol, you're buying it for the brand name. And I think you get an amazing product with a beautiful presentation. That's going to be important to some people, and for others, it's not. But that's going to have to be something that you decide for yourself. So what do you think about Watchtower Firearms 1911 pistols? Do you like them? Do you like this platform in general? Do they interest you? Do you own one? And tell me if your experiences with these guns mirror mine. So, as always, thanks for watching.